In the YouTube video, 5 Reasons God Exists, Reasons to Believe scholar Kenneth Samples argues for the existence of God. His argument, however, is like a skyscraper erected on a foundation of quicksand. In fact, it appears to be intelligently designed to favor the conclusion that God exists. The good news is that you do not need to be a rocket scientist to understand this. In this short video, I will demonstrate these two claims. Samples begins with the premise: a cogent way of arguing for God is to infer his existence as an explanation for the most meaningful realities of life. Samples thus argues for the existence of God based upon how well God's existence can explain the most meaningful realities of life. Building upon this premise, Samples presents 5 reasons. God uniquely accounts for the physical universe's beginning. God uniquely accounts for the order, complexity, and design evidenced in the universe, and so on. Samples argues that since God provides such a good explanation for these 5 observations, God's existence can reasonably be inferred. He says, one of the strongest evidences that Christian theism's truth claims are correct is their ability to account for and justify the many, diverse, undeniable realities of life, just like the 5 mentioned. I say, you have built your skyscraper on quicksand. Let's look closer at the important ideas contained in his premise. A cogent way of arguing for God is to infer his existence as an explanation for the most meaningful realities of life. If Samples is to build any cogent argument upon this premise, the premise itself must be clearly defined and free of assumptions. Cogent means clear and logical and convincing. To infer means to deduce from data, facts, evidence, and phenomena, as well as reason. So far, so good. Lastly, the most meaningful realities of life. What are those? From whom, what, and or where do meaningful realities get their meaning? How are they ordered such that there is a subset of most meaningful realities among the set of meaningful realities? What is a reality that is not meaningful? Are there any unrealities that are meaningful? This is absolutely essential because his premise contains the presuppositions that life has meaningful realities and that these can be arranged such that there is a smaller set that is the most meaningful. So what are the most meaningful realities of life? From his 5 reasons we can get some idea of what Samples might mean. The Big Bang, particular properties of the universe, objective ethical values, the enigma of man, and the superhuman Jesus Christ. But these appear cherry-picked. What about other meaningful realities? How about famine, disease, stillborn babies, scientific evidence that contradicts the Bible? Are these realities less real than the Big Bang? Are these realities not meaningful enough? Before building upon a premise, you must first define and defend each hidden presupposition in the premise. Essentially, Samples has built a skyscraper on quicksand. With these presuppositions hidden from view and never addressed, Samples' argument is actually, dare I say, intelligently designed to favor the set of explanations that actually favor the presupposed existence of, quote, the most meaningful realities of life, unquote. Reducing his premise to its essentials makes the intelligent design of his argument much more clear. Argue X by its explanation of a result of X. Let X be that God exists, and then a result of X is the most meaningful realities of life. This method of arguing for X presupposes that a result of X exists, that is attributable only to X, and that X exists in the first place to bring about a result of X. Samples' argument is thus an argument for why X best explains a result of X. Not only has he built a skyscraper upon quicksand, it is also intelligently designed to favor the conclusion God exists. There is no need to argue against his 5 reasons since they are all stuck into the quicksand. Of course, there is only so much detail that can be included in a PowerPoint presentation, but I am surprised and disappointed that Samples and the Reasons to Believe group has presented an argument based upon a premise that is so poorly formed and worded. Of course, I am not sure that Samples intentionally obscured the presupposition that life has meaningful realities, but it is extremely devious and intellectually disingenuous if he continues to argue this way. In short, stay away from all things built upon quicksand. One bad premise spoils an entire lot.